Dr. Prescott stumbled backward from the window of the small wooden cabin. Inside, the dim glow of a single light bulb illuminated walls plastered with what appeared to be spiritual symbols and writings. In that moment, Dr. Prescott realized the significance of the strange data he had been collecting over the past few months. His breath quickened as he rushed back to his lab to confirm his suspicions, unaware that this discovery would soon draw the attention of federal authorities. But to understand this moment, we must rewind to where it all began. Kimberly received a phone call that would change the course of her life. The caller, an officer with the New York State Police, informed her that her husband, Mark, had been killed in a head-on collision with a drunk driver. According to the police report, the driver, operating an 18-wheeler, crossed the median on Interstate 87, crashing into Mark's vehicle. He was pronounced dead at the scene. This event marked the beginning of Kimberly's rapid decline. Once a successful marketing executive in New York City, now found herself paralyzed by grief. She quit her job, withdrew from social circles, and ultimately moved to a small remote town where she and her late husband had once purchased a vacation home. Kimberly's relocation to the small town was initially intended to be a retreat from the life she could no longer face. However, what began as a temporary escape quickly turned into a permanent residence as her mental state deteriorated. Interviews with local residents and former colleagues reveal a woman who was once vibrant and ambitious, now a shell of her former self. According to sources close to Kimberly, her daily routine involved little more than browsing the internet and avoiding any form of meaningful activity. Financial records obtained from her bank show a steady depletion of her savings. It was during this period of isolation that Kimberly reportedly began exploring esoteric topics online. A deep dive into her search history reveals a growing obsession with the 12 universal laws, particularly the law of vibration, a concept suggesting that everything in the universe is in a constant state of vibration and that these vibrations can influence reality. According to the logs and browsing history on her laptop, after months of isolation and grief, Kimberly made a sudden and unexpected decision. Instead of retreating further into solitude, she began offering consultations from her remote cabin. Investigators found newly created social media accounts with just a few video posts that became extremely popular for unknown reasons, since they haven't seemed to be spectacular or out of the ordinary. Initially, only a handful of curious individuals visited her cabin, drawn by rumors that Kimberly possessed an unusual ability to see things others could not, and what started as a trickle soon became a flood. Within weeks, the quiet road leading to Kimberly's cabin was choked with traffic. People from neighboring towns and even distant states flocked to see her, hoping for guidance, healing, or answers to their deepest questions. The reports state that the narrow dirt road, once traversed only by locals, was now lined with cars bearing out-of-state license plates. As the crowds grew, so did the commotion, turning the once peaceful town into a bustling hub of activity. Local authorities, unprepared for the sudden influx, struggled to maintain order. Traffic jams became a daily occurrence and tensions flared as visitors competed for parking and access to Kimberly's cabin. Despite the chaos, those who managed to secure a consultation with Kimberly spoke of life-changing experiences. The consultations themselves were shrouded in mystery. Most visitors were reluctant to share details, describing the encounters as deeply personal and profoundly impactful. The stories varied, but the common thread was that Kimberly seemed to possess an extraordinary ability to influence the lives of those who sought her out. One important detail that is underlined in the investigation is that the consultations never had a price tag. All the people interviewed said that the consultations were free, although there was a small donation box near the entrance with a note that said, "Only for my food and bills." This baffled the investigators, as knowing Kimberly's former career, she could have easily turned this newly gained popularity into a fortune, but all the data leads to the fact that she only wanted to help others. As the number of visitors to Kimberly's cabin grew, so did the strange phenomena surrounding her property. Dr. Theodore Prescott, a physicist and neighbor of Kimberly, first noticed unusual readings on his monitoring equipment a few weeks before the consultations began. Dr. Prescott, who had long been working with the concept of quantum vibrations, was startled to find that the energy levels around Kimberly's cabin were far from ordinary. The sensors detected intense vibrational frequencies emanating from the area surrounding Kimberly's cabin. These vibrations were unlike anything he had encountered before, and they seemed to peak whenever large numbers of people gathered at the cabin. Intrigued and concerned, Dr. Prescott discreetly installed additional monitoring devices closer to Kimberly's property, all while keeping his activities hidden from view. The data he collected over the next few weeks was nothing short of astonishing. The vibrational frequencies appeared to interact with the environment in bizarre ways. Electrical storms, brief but intense, would form directly above the cabin and dissipate just as suddenly. Animals behaved erratically near the property. Birds fell silent and deer seemed uncharacteristically calm in the presence of humans. Dr. Prescott began to theorize that Kimberly had somehow tapped into a natural frequency or force that was affecting not just the people who visited her, but the very fabric of reality in the area. He noted that the intensity of the vibrations seemed to correlate with the emotional states of the visitors. Those who arrived in a state of desperation or distress often reported the most profound experiences. This observation led him to suspect that the phenomena were somehow linked to human consciousness, though the exact mechanism remained elusive. Before going forward, let me ask you to give a like to this video. It helps a lot in spreading the knowledge. Also, we want to thank all of our subscribers for trusting us and show our appreciation to the members of this channel that are directly supporting our content. The growing public fascination with Kimberly's consultations did not go unnoticed by the authorities. Dr. Prescott's ongoing observations, combined with the increasingly bizarre reports from visitors, eventually attracted the attention of the federal authorities. Concerned that Kimberly's activities might involve some form of unexplained technology or manipulation, the authorities launched a covert investigation. Documents obtained through Freedom of Information Act requests confirmed that a specialized unit within the federal investigators focused on anomalous phenomena was dispatched to the town. This unit set up a temporary command center in Dr. Prescott's laboratory, where they began analyzing the vibrational data he had collected. Their findings were alarming. They have identified a unique energy signature surrounding Kimberly's cabin, one that appeared to affect the physical and psychological states of those who entered its range. Surveillance footage and interviews with visitors revealed a disturbing pattern. Many of those who consulted with Kimberly reported dramatic changes in their lives. Some even displayed signs of what could only be described as psychic phenomena, heightened intuition, precognition, or other abilities that defied logical explanation. Despite these findings, the authorities struggled to develop a concrete explanation for the phenomena. Internal memos reveal that the Bureau was divided on how to proceed. Some agents argued for a full-scale investigation into the potential misuse of unknown technology, while others urged caution due to the unexplained events. On November 10, 2011, residents of the small town awoke to find Kimberly's cabin closed without warning. The door was locked, and no one had seen or heard from Kimberly in the preceding days. A search of her home revealed no signs of struggle or forced entry, but Kimberly was gone, leaving behind her car and all of her personal belongings. The federal investigators, already involved in monitoring the situation, quickly escalated the investigation, but no leads were found. Kimberly had vanished without a trace despite the intensive surveillance near her cabin. In the weeks following her disappearance, the vibrational anomalies detected by Dr. Prescott's equipment ceased entirely, as if the source of the disturbance had simply evaporated. To this day, Kimberly's disappearance remains unsolved. The authorities' final report on the case, heavily redacted, acknowledges the presence of unexplained phenomena, but offers no definitive conclusions. Dr. Prescott, who has since retired from his position, remains convinced that Kimberly had unlocked a profound force that has yet to be proven. The investigation into Kimberly's case, which was kept out of mass media's radar, is a potent reminder that we don't know everything and there are forces out there that can greatly surpass what we think is possible. We must keep an open mind that we are capable of way more. Although the potential power of the law of vibration, just one of the 12 universal laws, is often dismissed as mere pseudoscience. This investigation suggests that these laws, when understood and harnessed, may influence reality in ways that defy conventional understanding. The federal authorities' involvement and the subsequent disappearance of Kimberly raise important questions about the limits of human perception and the forces that govern our existence.